Can you hear me calling? It's not the sound of thunder, nor the whistling of wind through the mountains. My voice whispers in the deepest part of your soul. It weaves through the broken pieces within you, through what you've lost, through memories veiled by time. It hasn't disappeared. You simply haven't been listening. Have you ever felt like something inside you is incomplete? Have you ever looked back on your life and recognized moments when you lost something precious? Perhaps it's a faith that once burned brightly, now just a faint ember. Maybe it's a joy that once flowed like a river, now dried up. Perhaps it's a love you once held, but let slip through your fingers. Or maybe you've lost yourself amidst the trials, suffering, and temptations of this life. But today, I come to you to say that what you have lost, I will restore, not just tangible things, but also the intangible things within your heart. I will not let you wander in the darkness of loss forever. Did you know that since you were born, your life has been in my hands? I have seen the moments of your joy and the times you wept bitterly. I know you were once full of hope, only to be crushed by failures and betrayals. I have seen your dreams shattered, the promises you trusted broken. I have heard your whispered words in the dead of night, the choked sobs in your heart when you thought no one was listening. But I was there, even if you forgot me. I haven't forgotten you. Even if you gave up on yourself, I haven't given up on you. And today, I come to reclaim what you have lost, not to give you a past you regret, but to give you a future I have ordained. Some things you lost through your own carelessness. You once had a strong faith, but you let the worries of this life dim it. The words I planted in your heart were once good seeds, but you let the thorns of the world choke them. You used to pray, used to feel my presence, but you let time pass without drawing near to me. And then one day, you realized you'd lost the fire you once had. But I will reignite that fire. I don't blame you for what you lost, but I invite you to return, like a father seeking his lost child, like a shepherd leaving 99 sheep to find the one that wandered away. I will not stop calling your name. Come to me, and I will restore your faith. I will fill your heart with a faith stronger than ever before, a faith unshaken by storms, unafraid of trials. But there are also things you lost that weren't your fault, things that were stolen from you, things you cherished, but life snatched them from your grasp. A loved one who is now gone. An opportunity you hoped for but slipped away, a love you gave but was betrayed, a joy you once tasted but now only remains as faded memories. I see those things. I am not indifferent to your pain. But, my child, what was stolen from you is not the end. I am the one who has the power to restore. I will not only compensate you, but I will do better than you expect. Remember when Job lost everything? I gave him back twice as much. When Joseph was sold into slavery, falsely accused, and imprisoned, I raised him to be the governor of all of Egypt. What the world takes away, I have the power to give back in greater abundance than at first. But there is something even more important. You have lost yourself. There are days you look in the mirror and no longer recognize who you once were. You once had a heart full of love, but now it's cold. You once had a pure soul, but now it's wounded and hardened. You once had a longing to do good, but now you feel weary and hopeless. I did not create you to live like this. I placed a noble spirit within you. I called you by my name. I redeemed you with my own life. You are not an outcast. You are not a failure. You are not worthless. Return to me, and I will restore you. I will heal the wounds you carry in your heart. I will wipe away the tears you have shed. I will renew your soul so you can love again, can hope again, can believe again. Are you ready for me to restore what you have lost? Don't look to the past with regret. Don't think that what is lost will never return. You don't know what awaits you, but I do. You don't see what I am preparing for you, but I am at work. Trust. Step forward, and let me do my work in your life. What you have lost, I will restore. And when I do, you will know that nothing is impossible for me. There are things you lost not in a single moment, but little by little, day by day. You didn't realize when it started slipping away because it didn't disappear in a violent storm, but gradually drifted away like sand carried by the waves from the shore. Joy, peace, faith, and the future. All of it used to be in your hands, but somehow they have faded away. Perhaps you were too busy with the worries of life, too tired of the constant pressure weighing you down. Perhaps you have spent your life pursuing things that you thought would bring happiness, only to one day realize that you have lost the things that were truly precious. But you know what? Not every loss is the end. Not everything that has drifted away cannot return. Because I am the one who can bring back what has been lost. And when I restore, everything will not be the same, but will be better, more complete, more radiant than ever. Have you ever felt like you have lost the innocence, the faith in people you had when you were a child? The world before your eyes was a colorful place, without the darkness of betrayal, without skepticism, without wounds in your heart. You used to trust the people around you. You used to see life with innocent eyes and an open heart. But over time, the wounds piled up. The disappointments extinguished your faith, and you began to build walls around yourself. You became cautious, even suspicious of everything. You were afraid of being hurt, afraid of being deceived, afraid of placing your trust in someone and being betrayed again. So you withdrew, kept your distance from the world, and gradually you were no longer yourself. You have lost the very innocence that I had placed in you from the beginning. But I will restore that. I don't want you to live in fear. Don't want you to close your heart forever. I will teach you how to trust again, how to open your heart without fear. I will show you that even though there are people who will hurt you, there are still people who will love you sincerely. Even though the world may be harsh, there are still good things waiting for you. I don't want you to live with a hardened heart, but with a free heart, knowing how to love, knowing how to receive, and also knowing how to give. Perhaps you have lost the peace of your soul. There used to be days when you woke up with a light mind, not worrying about tomorrow. But then the pressures, the expectations, the responsibilities kept piling up on your shoulders, weighing down your soul. You chased after goals, tried to please everyone, strained yourself to avoid falling behind. You thought that if you tried hard enough, were strong enough, you would be able to control everything. But then you realized that the more you tried, the more exhausted you became. You no longer had restful nights, no longer had moments of true peace. In your heart was an endless battle between worries, fears, and overwhelming expectations. You always wondered when you would truly be able to rest. I see the burdens you carry on your shoulders, and I want to take them from you. The peace that I give is not like the peace of the world. It does not come from everything around you being perfect, but from you learning how to surrender. I want you to understand that you don't have to control everything, because I am doing it. I want you to learn how to let go of the things that don't belong to you, so that you can truly live and not just exist. When you put everything in my hands, you will receive a peace that nothing in this world can take away. Perhaps you have lost your passion, your aspiration. There used to be a time when you were full of dreams, full of enthusiasm. You used to have great ambitions, clear goals, things that made you willing to fight and not give up. But over time, the challenges, the failures have extinguished the fire in you. You began to doubt yourself, began to wonder if it was worth continuing. You looked at what you had put in compared to what you received, and sometimes you found it meaningless. You no longer had motivation, no longer had interest in what you used to be passionate about. Sometimes you no longer knew what you really wanted. But I will rekindle that fire in you. I did not create you to live a dull, aimless life. I placed abilities, dreams, and I never let them die. I will give you a new vision, a new meaning for what you are doing. I will show you that passion is not something you have to create yourself, but something I placed in you from the beginning. And when you walk the path that I have laid out, you will find again the joy that you had lost long ago. You may think that what is lost cannot be regained, but I am not limited by what you see. You see failure. I see an opportunity to rebuild from the beginning. You see loss. I see a void for me to fill with something better. You see doors closing. I see new roads opening. I am not bound by time or circumstances, and what I am preparing for you is always greater than you can imagine. Let me restore what you have lost, not to return you to what was, but to bring you to a place many times better. I do not want you to live in the past, but want you to step into the future that I have prepared. And when you put your complete faith in me, You will see things that you never thought possible. What has been lost is not the end, but the beginning of something new, a complete restoration, a life where you are living with all that I have given you. Have you ever wondered why some of the things you once possessed gradually drifted away from you? There are things you didn't lose in a moment, but they disappeared over time, little by little, without a clear sign. You didn't realize when you started losing joy, when the enthusiasm in you ran out, when you stopped dreaming and accepted a life passing by like the same days. There are memories of yourself in the past that when you think back, you secretly ask why you are no longer the person you used to be. But you know what? Not everything that has been lost cannot be found again. I'm not only the one who can bring those things back, but I can also make them newer, better, more complete. Because when I act, everything will not return as before, but will become something new, powerful, more radiant than ever. Perhaps you have lost patience. As a child, you could spend hours learning something new, observing a small insect, gazing at the sky without feeling rushed. But over time, you became hasty, easily annoyed when things didn't go your way, easily giving up when you saw the road was too long. You were no longer patient to wait for a change, an answer, a good result. Everything in this world pushed you to be faster, to have it immediately, to achieve it right now. But I want you to understand that the most precious things always take time. Just like a seed needs many seasons to grow into a strong tree. The great things in you also need perseverance, need patience. I don't want you to miss out on the good things just because you are too hasty. And I will restore patience in you so that you know how to wait with faith, so that you don't lose the precious things just because you can't wait a little longer. Perhaps you have lost faith in yourself. There used to be days when you felt strong, confident in your abilities, daring to venture into things you had never tried. But then the negative words, the criticisms, the failures made you doubt yourself. You started to question whether you were really good enough, whether you could do it. You started to withdraw, not daring to try new things, not daring to step out of your comfort zone. You felt small before the world. You were afraid of the challenges. But I did not create you to live in fear. I want you to know that you are made in a special way, with abilities that only you have. I don't want you to live a dull life, but a life where you know who you are, know what you were born to do. I will restore self-confidence in you, so that you dare to stand up, dare to move forward, dare to live with all that I have given you. Perhaps you have lost connection with the people around you. There used to be a time when you had sincere relationships, true friends who really understood you, people you could share with without hiding anything. But over time, you gradually drifted away from people, perhaps because of the hurts, because of the misunderstandings, because of the busyness of life. You felt lonely even when standing in the crowd. You had many acquaintances, but few people really understood you. There were times when you wanted to open your heart, but then hesitated, afraid of being hurt, afraid of being rejected. But I don't want you to live in loneliness. I created you to be loved, so that you can share joy and sorrow with others. I will restore the relationships that have been fractured, will bring you people who can accompany you on this journey. You don't have to walk alone, because I have prepared for you people who will love you with a true love. Perhaps you have lost your dreams. As a child, you could dream without limits, could imagine a future full of wonders. But then the reality of life made you practical, made you shrink your dreams, made you give up the things that used to make your heart burn. You accepted a safe, stable, but no longer exciting life. You thought those dreams were too far-fetched, too utopian, that you were not capable of making them come true. But you know what? I didn't put those dreams in you just to let them fade away. What you yearn for, what makes your heart flutter, what makes you feel full of life, those are the things I want you to pursue. And I will restore the fire in you, so that you don't just live a dull life, but a life with purpose, with meaning, with true passion. Perhaps you have lost the ability to feel the simple things. There used to be a time when you could see beauty in small things. The morning sun, the birds singing, a gentle breeze. But then you became too busy, too worried, too caught up with the big things to forget the simple miracles happening around you. You no longer felt the lightness of life, no longer felt happiness in simple moments. But I want you to live with an open soul so that you can see beauty even in the smallest things. I want you to enjoy every moment. I want you to be grateful even for things that seem ordinary. Because life is not just about great successes, but also about the simple joys every day that I give you. You don't need to live forever in loss. What has passed is not the end, but only the preparation for something new. I will restore everything, but not in the way you think. I don't take you back to the past, but I lead you to a brighter future. You will not only receive back what you have lost, but you will receive back many times more. I don't just heal, but I make everything better than ever. And when you put your faith in me, you will see that nothing is truly lost, because in me, all can be restored, recreated, and made more wonderful. Have you ever wondered if you've noticed that there are emotions inside you that are fading, as if they are slowly drifting away without you even knowing it? Maybe it's the excitement of starting a new day, the eagerness when thinking about the future, or the tremor before the beautiful things of life. You used to feel everything more deeply. You used to have moments when your heart was overflowing with emotions. You used to have days when you felt this life was really worth living. But then over time, you become numb. The things that used to make you happy now become familiar and uninteresting. The moments that used to move you are now just a glance, no longer leaving a mark in your heart. And you wonder why you don't feel anything anymore. I want you to understand that your heart was not made to be empty, but to be filled with life. You were not born to just exist in a bland way, but to feel everything in a complete way. Apathy is not a natural part of you, but something that has crept into you through the disappointments, the pains, the wounds that you have never faced. You used to love but were hurt, so you prevented your heart from opening again. You used to trust but were betrayed, so you no longer dare to put your trust in anyone. You used to dream but were disappointed, so you learned how to extinguish your own desires. Gradually, you no longer felt anything because you were afraid that if you let yourself feel too much, you would suffer again. But do you know what? A heart that is closed cannot be hurt, but it also cannot truly live. And I don't want you to live like that. There are things in you that have died without you even realizing it. Not an obvious departure, but a quiet fading away. Enthusiasm has died in the days when you accepted tiredness without trying to change. Courage has died in the times when you chose safety instead of stepping out of your comfort zone. Sincerity has died when you felt the need to hide yourself to fit into this world. But you were not born to become a dim version of yourself. I created you with a fire, with a vibrancy, with something special that belongs only to you. And I will revive the things that have died in you. Maybe you have lost the wonder. As a child, you looked at the world with eyes full of wonder, because everything was new and magical. You could find joy just in a rain, a flower blooming, a butterfly flying by. But as you grew up, you gradually became familiar with everything. And the things that used to make you marvel are now just ordinary things. You no longer stopped to look at the sky, no longer felt happy just because of a cool breeze. Everything became too familiar, too old, and you no longer felt anything. But I want you to take back your wonder. I want you to look at this world with an open heart. Because do you know what? The wonders are still there. You have just stopped seeing them. Maybe you have lost the expectation. There used to be a time when you woke up with a heart full of hope, expecting the good things to come. You believed that tomorrow could bring a surprise, a blessing, a new opportunity. But then there were too many times when you waited without anything happening. There were too many times when you placed hope but received disappointment. And gradually, you stopped expecting. You lived each day just as a repetition of yesterday, no longer expecting anything special. You became realistic, rational, and you thought that would help you avoid disappointment. But do you know what? It is when you stop expecting that you also stop receiving new things. Because I cannot fill an inverted glass. And I want you to open your heart again to expect, to believe that good things are still coming to you, to know that each day can bring a miracle that you have never thought of. Maybe you have lost boldness. As a child, you were not afraid to try something new. You were not worried about whether you would do wrong or not, whether you would be evaluated or not. But then you grew up and you began to be afraid. You were afraid that you were not good enough, afraid that you would fail, afraid that you would be ridiculed by others. You began to withdraw, not daring to do the things that you really wanted to do. But do you know what? I did not create you to live in fear. I placed in you a strong spirit, a courage, a desire to explore. And I want you to take back your boldness so that you no longer live in fear but dare to step forward, dare to try, dare to fail, dare to stand up and continue to move forward. You don't need to live forever with the feeling of loss. What has been lost does not mean that it will never return. And I will not only restore those things to you, but I will give you even more. You will not only find what has been lost, but you will receive something new, something better, something that you have never imagined. And when that happens, you will understand that nothing is truly lost when it is in my hands. Because I am not only the one who heals, but I am also the one who recreates, renews, and makes everything more perfect than ever. There are things you've gotten so used to lacking that you don't even remember you once had them. There are emotions, joys, yearnings that have gradually disappeared. But you just think that's part of growing up, part of life you have to accept. But have you ever wondered if that's really how I want you to live? A bland life. Just going through each day without seeing anything really worth looking forward to. You don't realize that you have unconsciously lost so many things. Not just memories or past relationships, but yourself, the parts you cherish most, the parts that once made you feel like you were really living. You once had a heart full of dreams. You once had things you wanted to do, places you wanted to go, goals you wanted to achieve. But then you encountered obstacles, failures, criticisms, and you began to doubt yourself. You told yourself that maybe you weren't capable enough. Maybe you shouldn't expect too much. Maybe you should be content with what you have. And just like that, you agreed to give up little by little so that one day you no longer remembered that you had those dreams. But I don't want you to live a life where you simply exist. I didn't create you to confine yourself within the limits you set yourself. If you dare to look back, you will see that those dreams are still there. Only they're being buried under the dust of fear, of negative words, of painful memories. But do you know what? I still hold those dreams for you. They have never disappeared, just waiting for you to be ready to receive them again. You once had an enthusiasm that nothing could extinguish. You used to do everything with all your heart, willing to devote all your energy to the things you believed in. But then you met people who didn't understand you, people who didn't appreciate what you did, people who made you feel that all your efforts were in vain. And you gradually lost that enthusiasm. You still do what you need to do, but no longer feel interested. You still live each day, but no longer feel the fire burning in your heart. You began to do everything just out of obligation, out of responsibility, not out of love and passion as before. But you know what? I didn't create you to live such a superficial life. I want you to find the fire in your heart again. I want you to remember the feeling when you really love something. Because life is not just a series of obligations, but also moments when you truly feel alive. You once had a confidence that no one could shake. As a child, you weren't afraid of making mistakes, weren't afraid of being judged. You dared to try, dared to fail, dared to stand up and do it again. But then you grew up, and you realized that this world has judgmental eyes, has hurtful words, has rejections that make you feel you're not good enough. And you began to doubt yourself. You began to fear that if you tried, you might fail. If you showed your true self, there might be people who wouldn't like you if you dared to do what you wanted. There might be people who would laugh at you. And just like that, you withdrew, chose the safe path, chose to please others instead of living true to yourself. But do you know what? I didn't create you to live in fear. I don't want you to have to try to become someone just to be accepted. I want you to understand that you're already complete, that you don't need to become another version of yourself to be loved. You don't need to live and worry about other people's eyes, because I have placed in you a value that no one can take away. You once had a strong belief that everything would be good. You used to believe that no matter what happened, there was always hope. You used to think that the future always brought wonderful things. But then life threw you challenges, losses, pains that you didn't expect. And you began to wonder if there really was something good waiting for you, if it was worth hoping, or would you just be disappointed in the end? And gradually, you stopped believing. You began to prepare yourself for the worst, so that if they happened, you wouldn't be hurt too much. You began to look at everything with skepticism, so that if something good came, you wouldn't dare to receive it because you were afraid that it was only temporary. But you know what? I don't want you to live in that skepticism. I don't want you to keep worrying about what might happen, but forgetting that there are still miracles waiting for you ahead. I don't want you to just prepare for the bad things, but to be ready for the good things that I am bringing you. You don't need to continue to live in loss. You don't have to resign yourself to the idea that the good things in you are gone forever because I am making all things new. I am breathing life into what was once withered, opening doors you thought were permanently closed. You won't just find what you lost, you'll receive so much more. Things you gave up on, feelings you forgot, dreams you thought were impossible, they're all coming back. And this time, they won't just be like they were before, they'll be brighter, more complete because I don't just restore, I renew. I don't just give you back what you lost, I give you things you never even thought you deserved. So, get ready to receive. Open your heart. Let me revive what has died within you. And you'll see that nothing was ever truly lost. It was just waiting to be restored in my hands. I know there are wounds in you that even you can't name. It's not just the obvious pain, the hurts you can clearly see, but also the invisible cuts that run deep into your soul from days gone by. Memories you thought you'd forgotten, but that still quietly influence how you think, how you feel, and even how you love. The careless words someone spoke, the times you were abandoned, the moments you felt like you weren't important enough, it's all still there. No matter how hard you try to hide it. You can pretend you've forgotten, that you've moved on, but the truth is those hurts still creep into every decision you make, every reaction you have to life. They make you hesitant to love someone. They make you afraid to face new opportunities. They make you doubt even when happiness knocks on your door. I see those moments when you wake up in the middle of the night, eyes wide open in the darkness, your heart heavy with thoughts you can't shut off. You wonder if anyone really understands you, if anyone even sees you, if anyone will be patient enough to wait for you to open up, to break through the wall you've built to protect yourself. You're tired of having to act strong. You're sick of pretending everything's okay when you're screaming inside. But listen, I didn't create you to live in that kind of loneliness. I don't want you to have to suffer alone. I don't want you to keep running from what's hurt you. I want to heal you, not by making you forget what happened, but by helping you see it in a different light. You can't change the past, but you can change how you look at it. Those wounds aren't signs of weakness. They're proof of your resilience. Those hurts don't define you, but they can become where I plant wisdom, compassion, and strength. You've been hurt, but that doesn't mean you have to live like a victim for the rest of your life. You can stand up, you can step out of the darkness, you can become a new person, not by erasing the past, but by using that past to build a different future. I want you to understand that you're not trapped. The feelings you're carrying, the pain you're holding on to, they aren't your destiny. You have the right to choose to let go, not in a way that rejects or denies them, but by placing them in my hands so I can transform them into something meaningful. You don't have to figure out a way out on your own. You don't have to be strong all by yourself. Let me walk with you. Let me step into the dark corners of your soul, where you've never let anyone touch. You don't have to be ashamed of what you've been through. I don't look at you with judgment. I don't see you as a broken or pitiful person. I just see a heart that needs to be loved, a soul that needs to be comforted, a child I will never abandon. Have you ever wondered why it's so hard for you to trust others? Why even when someone wants to love you, you still keep your distance? Why you're so afraid of being hurt that you don't dare open your heart? It's because the old pains are still haunting you. They whisper in your ear that you can't trust anyone, that everyone will eventually disappoint you, that you should keep your heart safe by not letting anyone get close. But you know, that fear itself is what hurts you the most. When you don't dare to love, you can't truly live. When you don't dare to trust, you're depriving yourself of the chance to be loved completely. You think you're protecting yourself, but you're actually imprisoning yourself in an invisible cage. I want you to understand that there's always a risk in love, but it's a risk worth taking. Not everyone will hurt you. Not everyone is like the people who hurt you in the past. I don't want you to live with a closed-off heart. I want you to know what true love is, what deep connection is, what the joy is when you can be completely yourself without fearing being hurt. I don't promise you won't ever be in pain again, but I promise you'll never have to face that pain alone. You think that what's lost will never come back, but I tell you that there are things that are not only restored but become better than before. There are things you thought were over, but they're really just a chapter on pause, preparing for something even greater. You don't have to keep regretting what's past. You don't have to torture yourself over what you did or didn't do. I don't want you to live in regret. I want you to live in hope, because what I'm about to do in your life will make you forget all the suffering you've been through. Not because they never existed, but because they won't matter anymore when you see the amazing things waiting for you ahead. So, don't be afraid anymore. Don't be afraid to love. Don't be afraid to open your heart. Don't be afraid to hope. Don't be afraid to start over. You're not losing anything. You're just being prepared to receive everything in a better way. I've seen your tears. I've heard your silent prayers, and I tell you that you are not forgotten. The good things aren't over. New things are beginning, and I won't let you walk alone. I know you're used to hiding your hurts. You're good at hiding the pain behind a smile, good at distracting people with optimistic words. But there are moments when you're all alone, when you can't deny the emptiness inside you anymore. That's when you realize that the old wounds have never really disappeared. You've just learned to live with them. But I don't want you to just exist with pain. I don't want you to accept it as an inevitable part of life. I want you to be healed, to be free, to live with a whole soul no longer weighed down by the past. But to be healed, you need to do something you've probably been avoiding for a long time. Face yourself, not by blaming or torturing yourself, but by honestly looking at what's going on inside you. You've suppressed your emotions for too long. You've built too many layers to protect your heart. But listen, those walls not only block out the pain, but they also block out the love, peace, and joy I want to give you. Have you ever wondered why you feel so lost even when you're in a crowd? Why you can laugh and talk with everyone, but when you come home, you feel empty? Why there are times when you're exhausted and don't understand why? It's because the wounds inside you haven't been healed. They're still silently draining your energy, making you tired for no clear reason. You're used to ignoring your feelings. You're used to putting other people's needs first. You're used to thinking that you're not important enough to be cared for, to be loved the way you need to be. But I want you to know that's not true. You're important. Your feelings are important. Your dreams are important. You weren't born to be background in other people's lives. You weren't born to just sacrifice without ever receiving. I don't want you to just live for others and forget about yourself. Let me help you find yourself again. You don't have to act strong anymore. You don't have to prove anything. I saw you from the moment you didn't even realize yourself. I know who you are. I know what you need. I know what will truly make you happy, and I want to give that to you. But first, you need to learn to receive, learn to believe that you deserve to be loved, deserve to be happy, deserve to be cared for. Learn not to shrink away every time someone gets close. Learn to let go of the fears that have bound you for so many years. Sometimes the hardest thing isn't forgiving others, it's forgiving yourself. You still hold regrets in your heart. Things you wish you had done differently, maybe a wrong decision, an opportunity you missed, a relationship you couldn't save. You think that if you had done better, if you had chosen differently, maybe things would be better now. But listen, you can't turn back time. You can't live forever in what should have been. I don't want you to keep looking at the past with self-reproach. What's past is past. You can't change what happened, but you can change how you move forward. Remember that you're not defined by your mistakes. You're not a sum of your failures or hurts. You're a precious creation made with purpose and meaning. Each wound in you isn't a sign of weakness. It's proof that you've overcome challenges, that you've kept moving forward even when you thought you couldn't. And I promise you that these pains aren't meaningless. There will come a day when you look back and realize that even the darkest moments had their reason. But today, you don't need to understand everything. You don't need to have answers to every question in your heart. Today, you just need to do one thing. Let me step into your heart. Let me touch the wounds you've hidden for so long. Healing isn't an easy process. There will be times when you have to face things you want to forget. There will be times when you feel weak, feel empty, feel like you don't know what to do next. But trust that I'm here. I won't abandon you. I won't leave you alone on this journey. You don't have to rush. You don't have to force yourself to be okay right away. Healing is a journey, and I'll walk with you every step of the way. Just be willing to open your heart, willing to receive my love, willing to believe that you deserve a more complete life. The old things will pass away. A new thing is coming, and you won't have to live in pain anymore, because I will make all things better than ever. I know there are times you wonder if you can really heal, if this pain will ever really disappear. You're so used to feeling hurt that it's become a part of you, like a shadow clinging to your soul. But I want you to know that you weren't created to live in darkness forever. You weren't made to carry the burden of painful memories. I don't want you to just exist with wounds without ever living fully. Healing isn't about forgetting the past or pretending it never happened. It's a journey where you learn to look at what's past with peace instead of pain. You won't have to run away from those memories anymore. You will be able to face them without feeling bound. But to do that, you need to change how you perceive yourself. You're used to thinking that you're not good enough, not strong enough, not worthy enough to be loved completely. Maybe someone told you that, or maybe the painful experiences in the past planted that wrong belief in your heart. But listen, I don't see you the way the world sees. I don't judge you based on your failures or mistakes. I don't love you for what you can do. I love you for you. So why do you keep torturing yourself for things you can't change? Why do you let the past define who you are? You are not your hurts. You are not the times you were abandoned. You are not the words that hurt you. You are not the times you failed or the moments you felt worthless. You are a meaningful creature made with a high purpose, and I never want you to see yourself with eyes of self-blame or guilt. You may think that you're too weak, but I see you're stronger than you thought. Because no matter how many times you thought you fell, you still stood up. No matter how many times you felt you had no strength to continue, you still walked. Even though your heart is full of doubts, you still seek hope. That shows that whatever you think about yourself, the truth is that you have fought more than you realize, and I want you to understand that you don't have to fight alone anymore. There are wounds you can't heal on your own, not because you are weak, but because some things can only be healed when you let me in, when you open your heart. You will see that I not only want to soothe your pain, but also want to turn those wounds into something beautiful. You may think that nothing good can come from your hurts, but you will see that it is what you have been through that will become your source of strength later. Today's tears may become a guiding light for someone in the future. The scars you carry may become the evidence of someone who has been hurt but did not give up. But before you can move on, you need to learn to let go. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean that what happened doesn't matter. It just means that you don't let it control you anymore. It no longer has the right to decide who you are, what you can do, or what you will become. You have the right to step out of the darkness. You have the right to be free. I don't promise you that this journey will be easy. There will be days when you feel like you can't continue. There will be moments you want to turn back because you fear the new. But I promise you that if you go, you won't regret it. One day you will look back and realize that you were stronger than you ever thought. You will see that what once hurt you has now become what taught you to grow. And you'll understand that I have always been there, holding your hand, even when you didn't realize it. So today, will you dare to let me heal your invisible wounds? Will you dare to let me step into the deepest places in your soul? Will you dare to believe that something better is waiting for you? If you are ready, open your heart. Let me do what only I can do. Let me turn your pain into a story of victory, a story of light, the story of someone who was hurt but never defeated. I see things you never dare to say, things you try to bury even from yourself. The long nights you toss and turn with questions you can't answer, the moments you feel like the whole world is turned against you. The times you quietly look into space, wondering if there's anything good left for you in this life. You're used to hiding your true feelings, putting on a strong appearance. But deep down inside, you still long for someone to really understand you, for someone to listen to you without judging, for someone to come beside you and say everything will be okay. And I am here. My love, I am here to tell you that everything will be okay. Listen, honey, I've always been here. I've always been listening, even when you weren't saying a word. I understand every secret thought you have, every pain you can't even put into words. You can hide things from everyone else. You can even convince yourself you're okay, but you can't hide from me. And I never want you to live in pain without a way out. There are wounds you think time will heal, but years go by, and they're still there, still hurting you every time you accidentally touch them. There's pain you've gotten so used to living with that you think it's just a part of you, something that can't be changed. You think you'll always be this way, that your heart will always carry these scars, that you can never really feel free. But sweetheart, I didn't create you to live forever in the darkness of the past. I don't want you to just exist with your wounds. I want you to truly live, to really feel joy, to walk in the light. I want you to know that there's a full life waiting for you. A life where you don't have to strain yourself to hide the cracks in your soul. But to step into that life, you have to be willing to let go. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean denying what happened. Letting go means you choose not to let the past control you anymore. Not to let what's happened define who you are. Not to let old pain stop you from embracing new good things. You know, I don't just want to heal you. I want to turn your wounds into something meaningful. I want to use the very things that hurt you to create something good. I want to turn your tears into a source of hope for others. To turn the challenges you've been through into a testimony of strength and faith. But before that can happen, you have to let me in. I see you're scared. You're worried that if you open up, you just get hurt again. You're afraid that if you let someone get too close, they'll see the parts of you that you don't want anyone to know, and then they'll leave you like others have done. But honey, I'm not like anyone you've ever met. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to heal you. I don't leave you when you're weak. I'll hold you up and help you stand. I don't just love the strong parts of you. I love the most broken parts of you. I love you not because you're perfect, but because you're you. You don't have to keep going alone anymore. You don't have to try to endure it all. It's time for you to let me bandage your wounds, dry your tears, and take away the burdens you've been carrying for so many years. Let me replace your pain with peace. Replace your fear with confidence. Replace your painful memories with a future full of hope. You don't know what tomorrow will bring, but I do. And I promise you that if you let me guide you, your tomorrow won't be haunted by yesterday anymore. You've spent too much time holding on to things you should have let go of. You've let old wounds define you. Let past mistakes make you feel like you don't deserve anything good. But honey, you're not defined by what's happened to you. You're not bound by mistakes, failures, or the times you've fallen. You are a precious creation, made for a great purpose, and I'm not going to let you live in pain without hope. Believe that there's a different life waiting for you. A life where you don't feel trapped in old wounds. A life where you can breathe without feeling heavy. A life where you know you're loved unconditionally. But to step into that life, you have to reach out your hand. You have to let me take it. You have to let me lead you. Let me do the things that only I can do. Do you dare? Do you dare to believe that you deserve something better? Do you dare to believe that your wounds aren't the end of your story, but just part of the journey that I'm writing for you? If you're ready, let me start. Let me heal you. Let me turn your life into something more beautiful than you ever imagined. I see in you longings that have never been filled. You yearn to be understood, to be loved without having to prove your worth. You want a safe place where you can express every thought, every emotion without fear of judgment or hurt. But this life has taught you that that kind of safety is rare, that love always comes with conditions, that too much trust can cause you pain. So you've built walls. You've made yourself someone who's not easily hurt. You've learned to hide your most vulnerable parts. But honey, the walls you've built don't just keep the pain out. They keep you trapped in your own loneliness. Do you know why you feel so empty? Because you've gotten so used to hiding that you've forgotten what you even need. You've spent too much time trying to become the version that the world wants you to be, forgetting that I created you in my image, not to please people, but so that you can live in real love. You've been looking for your worth in the eyes of others, in praise, in recognition. But you've never really felt enough, because you weren't created to seek validation from the world, but to be complete in my love. I don't see you the way the world does. I don't judge you by your achievements. I don't love you for what you do. I don't leave you when you make mistakes. My love for you doesn't change no matter how many times you fail, no matter how useless you feel. I love you even when you don't love yourself, even when you think you don't deserve it. I still see you as precious, and I want you to see that too. I want you to understand that your value doesn't depend on praise or criticism. It's not determined by the past or your current circumstances. But I can't force you to believe that. I can tell you 1,000 times that you're loved, but if you don't open your heart to receive it, you'll still feel alone. If you still hold on to your self-doubt, still believe the lies that the world has planted in your mind, then no matter how much I bless you, you won't realize it. I need you to believe what I say about you more than what the world says. I need you to see yourself through my eyes, not through the distorted lenses of this life. Have you ever wondered why you always feel lacking even when you may have everything that other people crave? Because your soul can't be filled with things of this world. Money, status, recognition, they're all temporary. They can bring joy for a moment, but can't bring real peace. You've put your hope in people, but people can change. Today they love you. Tomorrow they might turn their backs. You've put your hope in the future, but the future is unknown. Everything in this world can change. Only I am eternal. So why are you worried? Why are you afraid of things you can't control? If you know that everything is in my hands, that I hold you, that I never leave you alone, then what do you have to fear? If I've opened a path for you, who can close it? If I've destined good things for you, who can stop it? But honey, I can't force you to walk that path. You have the freedom to choose. You can continue to live in worries, anxieties, and fears. You can continue to cling to what's familiar, even though it hurts you. But you can also choose to trust in me. Choose to put all your burdens down. Choose to live in the peace that only I can give. I'm not promising that this journey will be easy. There will be challenges. There will be times you doubt. There will be times you feel like there's no way out. But remember that you're not walking alone. I go before you to open the way. I go behind you to protect you. I go beside you to lift you up. Just hold on to your faith. Just keep walking. Just remember that no matter what happens, I am always here. So, are you ready? Ready to let go of the burdens you've been carrying for so many years? Ready to believe that you deserve something greater? Ready to step out of your comfort zone to embrace what I prepared for you? If you're ready, reach out your hand. Let me lead you. Let me turn your life into a miracle. I know that there are still unanswered questions in your heart, things you can't understand, pains you can't explain. Sometimes you wonder why life has so many challenges, why there are wounds that time can't heal, why some dreams never come true. You've prayed, you've waited, you've hoped, but sometimes you feel like I'm silent. Sometimes you wonder if I'm really listening, if I really care. You're afraid that you've been forgotten, that you're not important enough to be noticed. But honey, you've never been abandoned. You've never been forgotten. I've seen every tear you've cried. I've heard every silent prayer in your heart, even when you couldn't speak. I know the pain you can't share with anyone, the burdens you've been carrying for so many years. I know you've been disappointed, been broken, felt like there's no hope left for you. But sweetheart, challenges aren't abandonment. Pain isn't proof of my silence. Everything that happens in your life has meaning, even if you can't understand it right now. Some blessings come in the guise of loss. Some protection is disguised behind closed doors. Sometimes I have to take away something that doesn't belong to you to make room for something better. Sometimes I have to let you go through storms so you can become stronger, so you can learn to rely on me instead of clinging to fleeting things. Don't think I'm heartless when I let you hurt. Believe that behind every tear, there's a good intention you haven't seen yet. Do you remember the times you thought you were going to collapse, but you still stood firm? The times you thought everything was over, but then a new path suddenly opened up? That wasn't random. That's proof that I'm still acting even when you don't realize it. I've never left you, never abandoned you for a second. You may not see me, but I'm still there, quietly arranging everything to lead you to where you belong. But there are things you need to let go of to move forward. There are burdens you don't need to carry. There are hurts you don't need to hold on to. I know that there are people who have hurt you, words that have left scars on your soul. But do you want your whole life to be bound by the past? Do you want what others have done to you to determine your happiness? I didn't create you to live in the chains of resentment, of pain, of memories that hurt you. Let me heal you. Let me take away the wounds in your heart. Let me put a new heart, a new soul in you. Learn to forgive, not because the people who hurt you deserve it, but because you deserve freedom. When you forgive, you don't deny your pain. You choose not to let it control you anymore. When you let go of the past, you don't forget what happened. You choose not to let it determine your future. You know that you can't hold on to the past and embrace the future at the same time. You can't move forward if your feet are still tied by what's past. If you really want to receive what I've prepared for you, you have to be willing to open your hands. You have to be willing to let me take away the old things, the burdens you've carried for too long. Believe that what I have for you is always better than what you're trying to hold on to. I'm inviting you to step into a new journey, a new life, a future you've never dared to imagine. But you have to be the one to choose. You can continue to live in worry, in pain, in old thoughts. Or you can put your trust in me and let me lead you. I don't promise that the road ahead will be easy, but I promise that you won't have to go alone. I'll be there in every step you take, in every decision, in every challenge. Do you dare to believe? To believe that even if you can't see the path clearly, I'm still going ahead of you to open the way? To believe that no matter what the present looks like, I'm still acting for your good? To believe that your future is not in your hands, but in mine, and that's a safer place than anywhere else. If you dare to believe, if you dare to step out of your limits, if you dare to entrust your life into my hands, you will see miracles happen, things you never thought possible. Doors you thought would never open, blessings you never expected. Let me transform your life. Let me turn your unfinished dreams into reality. Let me turn your pain into strength. Let me turn what seems like loss into the most precious things. I'm waiting for you. The future is waiting for you. And when you're ready, step forward because I prepared the way for you. I know that you still have things you don't fully understand. Life is sometimes like a painting too large for you to see. You only see pieces of it. Some things happen that make you wonder, that make you confused, that make you feel like everything has no order or meaning. But honey, there are things you don't need to understand right now. There are truths that can only be revealed at the right time. Just like seeds can't sprout on the day they're sown, some things in your life need time to grow. I don't just care about your today. I care about your whole life's journey. I see the complete picture that you haven't seen. When I close a door, it's not because I want you to suffer. When I delay something, it's not because I want you to lose patience. When I lead you through winding roads instead of the shortest path, it's not because I like to test you, but because I know what's best. I know when you're ready, when you're not strong enough, when you need to be prepared. If you trust me, you'll learn to be patient. You'll learn to wait without despair. Learn to be confident even when you don't understand why. But I also know that there are times when you feel tired, you've fought, you've tried, you've done everything you can, but you still don't see results. You wonder why you have to continue, why you can't rest, why everything is so difficult. I want you to know that I don't expect you to do it all with your own strength. I don't require you to grit your teeth and endure, to overcome everything on your own. I'm here to lift you up when you have no strength. Let me be your strength. When you don't know what to do, let me guide you. When you feel alone, remember that I've never left you for a second. There are times when you feel not good enough, not strong enough, not holy enough to come near me. You think that your mistakes have pushed you too far away, that the wounds in you have made you unworthy of my love. But sweetheart, nothing can make you too far away from me to reach. No sin is too big for me to forgive. No wound is too deep for me to heal. You may have lost your way, but you've never been outside my arms. Come back. Come to me. No need to hide. No need to pretend to be strong. Let me love you. Let me restore you. Let me give you a new beginning. I also want you to understand that true happiness doesn't lie in what you possess. It doesn't lie in the fame or success you achieve. Happiness isn't a distant destination, but a state of mind. If you keep waiting until everything is perfect, until there are no more difficulties, until you achieve all your desires before you allow yourself to be happy, you'll never truly enjoy life. Learn to be grateful in every moment. Find joy even in the smallest things. Stop looking at others to compare yourself. Stop measuring your value by the world's standards. You weren't created to be like anyone else. You were made in a special way with a unique mission. If you ever feel lost, remember that I'm the light that guides you. If you ever feel pressured by what the world demands, remember that you don't need to please everyone. You weren't born to live according to the desires of others, but to fulfill the good purpose that I've destined for you. Don't be afraid when you have to walk alone. Don't worry when you're not understood. Don't be discouraged when you don't see results immediately. What I'm doing in your life will be revealed one day. The seeds you're planting, the tears you've shed, the prayers you've whispered, all are not useless. Trust in me. Let me hold your hand through each day. Don't worry too much about the future, because I'm already there. Don't worry too much about what's past, because I've forgiven it. Don't doubt your value, because you are a part of my grand plan. I love you yesterday, today, and forever. And nothing can change that. There are things you don't see, but I see. There are truths you don't understand, but I've understood from eternity, and there are paths you're afraid to walk. But I know that it's the way that leads you to fulfillment. Have you ever wondered why some doors close as soon as you touch them? Why the opportunities you once yearned for slipped away as if they never belonged to you? Maybe you thought I was hindering you, taking away the good things from your hands. But you don't know that behind every closed door, behind every unfinished dream, behind everything you regret, I'm preparing something greater, a more lasting blessing. You're often worried when your life doesn't go according to the plan you've set. You think that only when everything goes as you want, life will be really good. But sweetheart, there are things you think are good, but they're just shadows of the better things that I'm preparing for you. When you cling to temporary things, you unintentionally reject the eternal things I want to give you. When you refuse to let go, you no longer have space to receive. When you're afraid of losing, you're limiting yourself in a small frame that I didn't design for you. Remember that I don't just look at what's in front of you. I look at the whole journey, the long road ahead. If I bring you into a season of trials, it's not because I want you to suffer, but because I want to refine you, to strengthen your faith, to help you become stronger, more steadfast, more ready for the great thing that I've planned. Don't be afraid when you have to go through dark days, because my light will never leave you. Don't be confused when you find yourself in the midst of uncertainty, because I'm the solid foundation you can lean on. You may not know what the next step will be, but believe that every step you take is within my providence. There are things I'm doing in your life that you can't see now, but one day when you look back, you'll understand why I led you this way. You'll see that the things you once thought were losses were actually my protection. The tears you shed were fertile ground for planting the blessings you never thought of. The seemingly hopeless waits were the time needed to prepare for the greater things I'm bringing you. So, don't be too afraid to step into new things. Don't let the worry about tomorrow steal your peace today. Don't let the things you don't understand make you doubt my love. When you don't know what to do, simply come closer to me. When you feel lost, let me be your guiding compass. When you no longer have the strength to walk, let me carry you in my powerful hands. And remember that I never make mistakes. I never forget you. I never abandon you. You may not see me, but I'm still here. You may not hear my voice, but I'm still working in your life. Trust, be strong. Let me write your story because in my hand, everything will become good. Do you know that everything that happens in your life is not outside my plan? No tear of yours falls without me seeing it. No sigh of yours is not understood by me. I don't just care about the moments you succeed or are happy, but I also follow every step when you feel weak, when you feel your heart breaking. But look, have you ever really lost everything? Have you ever fallen without a hand to lift you up? Even if you're lost in stormy days, I'm still always present. Do you think that your life is a series of random events, coincidences, things that happen without order or meaning? No. I'm the one who holds everything in my hand. Even your failures have meaning. Even the things that seem to hinder you are the very paths that I'm opening. There are days when you ask me to bless you. But you don't realize that I've been working in the smallest things in your life. Have you ever wondered why some of your dreams don't come true? Why you've tried your best, but still haven't achieved what you wanted? You don't know that there are things that if I let you achieve, you'll no longer be able to keep yourself. There are paths you want to go, but if I allow, you'll stray away from me. Never think that I reject your prayers meaninglessly. Everything I do comes from love, even when you don't understand. Have you ever felt lonely? Have you ever looked around and seen no one who truly understands your heart? Sometimes I let you walk in loneliness, not because I abandon you, but because I want you to find your way back to me. I want you to understand that you can lose everything, but if you still have me, you still have everything. I don't want you to rely on people, on temporary things, on things that can change over time. I want you to place your trust in something that never changes, that is me. Are you waiting for something? Do you feel that time is too slow and the things you're waiting for haven't come? Remember that I never come late. My timing is always perfect. I'm not in a hurry like you because I know exactly when you're ready to receive what I have for you. Don't be discouraged when the wait becomes long, because while you wait, I'm acting, I'm preparing you so that when the blessing comes, you can keep it firmly. Don't rush into things that aren't the right time, because if you receive it too early, you won't be able to carry it. Do you know that I see your future? I don't just see where you are now. I see everything that's coming. When I tell you to wait, when I encourage you to trust, those aren't just empty words. It's because I know what you need, and I'm preparing it for you in the best way possible. If you could see what I see, you'd understand why I don't give you everything you want right away. But even when you can't see it, believe that I'm working. Don't let trials make you forget my love, and don't let disappointments make you think I don't care anymore. I never stop loving you, never stop guiding you, and never stop working on your behalf. If you can hold tight to my hand, if you can put your faith in me, even when things seem dark, you'll see miracles happen. Because in my hands, everything works out for good. Have you ever thought about those moments in your life when you felt like you were staring into the abyss? When all the doors seemed closed and there wasn't a single ray of light in the darkness? Have you ever wondered why those things happened? Why you had to go through sleepless nights and days heavy with worry and fear? Have you ever stopped and considered that those moments weren't random, but carefully orchestrated by me to teach you something? Sometimes I allow you to go through challenges, not because I want to hurt you, but because I want you to become stronger. If you never knew disappointment, how could you ever truly appreciate moments of peace? If you never faced loss, how could you ever learn the value of what you have? Every tear you shed, every time your heart aches, it's not meaningless. I use all of those things to mold you, to transform you into a better version of yourself. Do you ever get tired of fighting all the time? Does it feel like you're fighting a never-ending battle, one where every time you think you've won, a new challenge comes along? Do you wonder why I don't let you rest? Why I don't take the burdens off your shoulders right away? But you don't realize that it's in those very battles that you're being refined. Have you ever watched a blacksmith make a sharp sword? He puts the metal in the fire, hammers it, shapes it, and keeps putting it back in the fire until it's perfect. Without the fire, without the hammering, that piece of metal would just be a useless lump. But if it endures the trials, it becomes a powerful weapon. It's the same with you. I'm using everything in your life to refine you, to make you stronger and more resilient. Do you ever think that the things you've been waiting for so long will never come? Do you ever feel like your prayers are just whispers in the void? But I want you to know that not a single one of your prayers is forgotten. There are things you ask for that I don't give you right away, not because I don't want to give them to you, but because I'm preparing you so that when that thing comes, you can receive it with a stable heart. If I gave you something too soon, you might lose it quickly. But if I let you wait, when you receive it, you'll appreciate it more, you'll understand its value, and you won't let it slip through your fingers easily. Have you ever looked back and realized that there are things you used to crave that you don't even want anymore? Things you prayed for with all your heart, but if I gave them to you now, you wouldn't even feel like they're important anymore. That's because your heart changes, your perspective changes, and I know exactly when you truly need something. I don't always do what you want right away. I do what's best for you. If you could see the whole picture, if you could see the future, you'd understand why I do the things I do. But since you can't see, You need to learn to trust me. I know you have fears. I know you worry about tomorrow, about what's waiting for you ahead. But I want you to remember that you don't have to face everything alone. Every new day, I'll give you enough strength to keep going. Every time you feel exhausted, I'll lift you up. Even if you feel like this world is too harsh, even if you feel like your heart is too weak, I'm always there, ready to guide you. So don't be afraid. Don't worry about what you don't know. And don't let things that haven't even happened yet steal your peace in the present. Just keep walking, keep trusting, and remember that I'm always with you. The things I'm preparing for you are bigger than you can imagine, and the things I'm doing in your life go far beyond what you can see right now. Just believe, just keep moving forward. And one day you'll look back and see that everything I did had a purpose, and that I never abandoned you for even a single moment. Have you ever wondered why there are doors you knock on that never open? Have you ever felt like every path in front of you is blocked with no way out? Do you know that sometimes I deliberately don't let you go through those doors because behind them are things that aren't as good as you think? I don't want you to go down a path that will lead you to hurt, disappointment, and destruction. I don't want you to set foot in a place where you'll lose yourself. You might see an opportunity as perfect. You might believe that achieving it will change your life, but I see things you don't see. I see what will happen after that, and I know that you're not ready. Or that place isn't meant for you. Do you ever feel delayed? Have you ever been waiting for something for years, but it still hasn't happened? Do you feel like you've been working really hard, but the results are still far away? You might think I'm holding you back, but I'm actually protecting you. I want you to be well prepared before you step into what you've been longing for. If you go too fast, if you receive what you want when you're not mature enough, you won't be able to hold on to it. I let you wait, not to punish you, but to build you up. I want you to learn patience, perseverance, and unwavering faith. If you learn these things, when the opportunity comes, you won't lose it easily. Do you ever feel like you're lost? Are there days when you wake up and don't know what you should be doing, don't know where you're going? Do you feel like your life doesn't have a clear direction? I want you to know that even when you don't see the path ahead, I'm still guiding you. You don't need to see everything to be able to walk. Trust me. And when you place your trust in me, you'll realize that every step you take has a purpose. Every challenge you go through has meaning. Nothing in your life is meaningless, not even the pain, the stumbles, and the losses. There are days when you feel abandoned, feel like no one understands you, no one really cares about you. You might be in the middle of a crowd, but still feel lonely. You might have a lot of people around you, but no one really listens to you. But I want you to know that I'm always listening. I always understand. Not a single one of your tears is forgotten, and not a single one of your prayers is ignored. I'm always beside you, even when you can't feel it. Have you ever wondered why the good things you've been hoping for haven't come yet? Do you ever see other people receiving blessings and wonder when it will be your turn? But remember that my timing is not your timing. I know when the time is right. If I haven't given you something yet, it doesn't mean I don't want to give it to you. It just means that your time hasn't come yet. If you're patient, if you continue to trust, I'll open up things that are far beyond your expectations. Sometimes you think that I'm silent, that I'm not acting, but you don't know that even in the moments when you don't see anything, I'm still working for you. I'm arranging things. I'm opening up paths that you can't see yet. You might think that nothing is changing, but actually, everything is happening according to my perfect plan. You just need to continue to trust, continue to walk forward, and one day you'll look back and see that I never stopped working in your life. That I was there in every moment, every decision, every step you took. Remember that you're not alone. I'm always with you, even when you can't feel my presence, even when you feel like you're lost. I'm still there, guiding you, protecting you, and loving you more than anyone else in the world. So don't be afraid, don't doubt, keep walking with faith. Because I have prepared something amazing for you, and it will come at the right time when you're ready to receive it. Have you ever looked up at the sky and wondered why there are sunny days, but also days when storms rage? Have you ever wondered why your life has times of peace, but then there are times when difficulties come crashing down like huge waves engulfing a small boat in the ocean? You might feel like I've abandoned you, like I've left you to fight everything on your own. But no, I never leave you alone. When you face storms, I'm not just standing by watching. I'm preparing something even greater for you. Every storm has its reason. It might make you weak in the moment, but it will make you stronger in the days to come. Storms don't come to drown you. They come to teach you how to stand firm, how to lean on me, how to understand that you can't do everything on your own, but with me, you can overcome anything. Sometimes you want everything to happen right away. You want your dreams to come true. You want the difficulties to disappear. You want the joy to return as soon as you cry out. But you don't realize that some things take time to complete. A seed can't turn into a mature tree in a day, and a diamond can't form without pressure and trials. If I gave you everything right away, you wouldn't learn anything from the waiting process. I want you to grow. I want you to be stable. I want you to understand that every stage in your life has meaning. Do you ever find yourself stuck in a cycle of fear and doubt? Are there things you want to do, but you don't dare to take the leap because you're afraid you'll fail? Have you ever longed for something, but been afraid that you're not capable of achieving it? I don't want you to live in fear. I've placed within you strength greater than you think. I've given you wisdom, courage, and the ability to overcome every obstacle. But you have to take the first step. You have to believe that I've prepared everything for you. If you just stand still because you're afraid, you'll never see the amazing things I have for you. There will be times when you'll be hurt by the people you trust the most. Maybe they'll leave you, betray you, disappoint you. You'll feel pain, and you'll wonder why I let that happen. But you don't know that sometimes I let certain people leave your life because they don't belong on the path ahead. I don't want you to be held back by relationships that will slow you down, that will make you lose sight of your own value. Don't be heartbroken because some doors close. Believe that I'm opening up even better things. Maybe you're feeling like you're not good enough. You might think you don't deserve love, forgiveness, or blessings. But you don't have to be perfect for me to love you. I don't love you because of what you do. I love you because of who you are. I see the wounds in your soul. I see the mistakes you've made, but I don't turn away from you. If you fall, I'm ready to lift you up. If you get lost, I'll guide you back. There's nothing you've done that could make me stop loving you. Your life might not be easy. You might have to face losses, trials, and pain that no one understands. But don't let those things make you give up. Don't let failures make you lose hope. I've placed within you a powerful flame, a spirit that cannot be extinguished. You may stumble, but you won't be defeated. You may cry, but you won't be destroyed because I'm walking with you. And when you don't have the strength to keep going, I'll carry you in my arms. I'll take you through every storm, every dark night, every challenge, until you see the light of a new beginning. Have you ever wondered why things you've been hoping for so long still haven't come to fruition? Prayers you've been offering for months, for years, and the answer seems to just be silence. Discouraged to see what other people achieve while you keep waiting? But do you know that waiting is also a part of the plan I have for you? You don't see what is happening in the invisible world. But I see it. I know the perfect time. I know when you are ready. If I gave you what you want right now, you might not be mature enough to hold on to it. Maybe it would become a burden instead of a blessing. Maybe you need more time for your heart to be molded, for your faith to be tested. I never withhold anything good from you, but I want you to have it at the right time. If you sow a seed on the ground, you can't make it sprout immediately. It needs time to take root, to grow, to become a strong tree. If you try to pull it up too soon, you'll kill it. It's also the same with you. There are things you crave, but you need time to prepare. Don't be discouraged when you have to wait. Don't let the waiting make you doubt my plan. Maybe you feel small, not important enough for me to care about. You think you are just a normal person amongst billions of people in the world, and that your problems are too small for me to notice. But you don't know that I care about every small detail in your life. I know when you are happy, when you are sad, when you feel lost. I see the tears you shed in the dark. I hear the sighs you don't dare to speak out loud. I know what you're struggling with. I know how tired you are. Don't think that I have forgotten you. No matter where you are, no matter how far away you feel from me, I am still right there, just waiting for you to turn around. There are days when you feel exhausted, like you're running on a road with no end. You have tried so hard, but it seems that nothing is changing. You wonder if it's worth continuing. But I want you to know that every step you take, no matter how small, is valuable. Don't judge your journey only by the results you see right now. There are things that are changing in the spiritual world. There are things moving that you can't recognize. Every effort you make is not meaningless. Don't give up just because you have not seen immediate results. I also want you to learn to value yourself. Don't compare yourself with others. Don't think that you have to be like someone else to have value. I created you with a unique purpose, with special qualities that belong only to you. Don't try to become a copy of someone else, because you are a unique masterpiece. You may not be perfect, but you're always valuable in my eyes. Don't let the criticisms, the expectations of people make you forget this. Also, don't live with the past. Maybe you have made mistakes. Maybe you have hurt someone. Maybe you have made decisions that you regret now. But don't let the past imprison you. I don't see you through the lens of mistakes. I see you through love, through renewal, through the potential you can become. Every day is an opportunity to start again. Don't let your past define you. Stand up and move forward because I am waiting for you with better things. You are not alone. No matter what situation you are in, even if you feel that the world has turned its back on you, I am still here. I am still holding you, still protecting you, still loving you as the first day. If you're tired, rest in my peace. If you don't know where to go, let me lead you. If you feel empty, let my love fill you. Because I am yours and you are mine. Have you ever wondered what really makes you feel whole? Some people run after money, fame, power, but when they get it, they still feel empty. They keep thinking that when they have a little more, they will be happy. But do you know that things that belong to this world can't fill the gap in your soul? That is a gap that only I can fill. If you spend your whole life searching for meaning in fleeting things, you will only find weariness and disappointment. But if you come to me, if you let me be the center of your life, you will find peace that the world cannot give you. Some people trade everything just to have the recognition of others. They are afraid of being ridiculed, afraid of being despised, afraid of not being loved. They try to change themselves to please everyone, but in the end, they only feel lost. You don't need to do that. You don't need to try to be anyone other than yourself. I love you not because you're perfect, not because you meet certain standards, but because you are yourself. I see your value even when you don't realize it. There are days when you feel lonely, as if no one really understands you. You can stand in a crowd, but still feel lost. But do you know that I am always near you? You don't need to look for me in a faraway place, because I am right in your soul. When you are sad, I am the one who comforts you. When you are afraid, I am the fortress that protects you. When you are lost, I am the light that guides you. Don't let loneliness make you forget my presence. Also, don't be afraid of the challenges coming your way. I know that there are days when you feel like the whole world is against you, as if you have to face great storms alone. But you're not alone. I'm still fighting with you, still walking with you step by step. Don't look at the difficulties and think that you are not strong enough to overcome them, because your strength does not only come from you, but also comes from me. If you lean on me, nothing can knock you down. The difficulties are not meant to destroy you, but to temper you, to make you stronger, to make you realize how protected and loved you are. There are people who live in fear of the future. They worry about things that have not happened. They are afraid of loss, afraid of failure, afraid of things they cannot control. But do you know? You don't need to worry about the future, because your future is in my hands. I have seen everything that will happen to you in advance, and I have the best plan for you. No matter what happens, you will never be abandoned. If you trust me, you have nothing to fear. I don't promise that you will never face challenges, but I promise that you will never have to face it alone. I don't promise that you will never have to cry, but I promise that I will wipe away your tears. I don't promise that your life will always be easy, but I promise that you will always have the strength to overcome. You just need to trust me. Let me guide you. Let me be the place you lean on. If you have faith in me, you will never have to walk in darkness. You don't need to have all the answers right now. You don't need to understand all of my plans. You just need to walk in faith one day at a time and trust that I am doing what is best for you. You don't need to carry all the burdens on your shoulders because I am ready to take your place. If you feel tired, come to me. If you feel weak, let me be your strength. If you feel lost, let me be your guide. Because I love you and my love never changes. Amen.